Fixold Cameras produces step-by-step, close-up videos of simple, common repairs and basic maintenance on classic and vintage cameras. Your ability, the quality of your tools, and the condition of your camera will affect the success of your repair endeavor. A successful completion of the demonstrated repairs ultimately depends on your camera repair skills.
The Pentax K1000, removal of the top cover and cleaning of the viewfinder. Set the shutter speed dial and the ASA setting to an arbitrary number, such as 125 and 100. Remember this setting. Using a pointed spanner wrench, remove the shutter speed dial retainer counterclockwise. Be aware of the spring pressure under the dial as it could pop free. Note the notches in the dial that line up with the ASA and the shutter speed. Using the appropriate size slotted screwdriver, loosen the set screws in the counter dial retainer. They do not need to be removed. If they are removed, they're fairly difficult to get back in place. With the set screws loosened, the counter dial can be lifted free. Under the counter dial cover is the counter dial retaining screw. This is a left-hand screw and is removed clockwise. Do not go the wrong direction. To do so will twist the head of the screw off. Remove the counter dial and the counter spacer washer. Remove the advance lever cover nut with a pair of pointed spanner wrenches. The advance lever retainer is held in with 3 small cross-point screws. Remove those. The advance lever retaining plate is notched with 3 notches and needs to be turned to quarter turn and lifted free. It is fairly tight and does take some pressure to get it to slide. Now lift the advance lever free and the advance lever spacer. The cross-point screws can now be removed from the top cover. Be sure to use a JIS cross-point screwdriver, as a Phillips screwdriver could damage the screws. Now remove the rewind knob. Hold the rewind shaft while spinning the rewind knob in the opposite direction of the rewind arrow. Now use a pointed spanner wrench to remove the rewind cover nut. The 2 cross-point screws will also need to be removed. While removing the top cover, watch for the rewind side spacer. The release plunger often is left behind, balancing on the release plate. Otherwise, it remains in the release button. Fold back the meter wires and set aside the black plastic body trim piece. A word of caution when removing the Prism retainer. The springs are under considerable tension, and as you release them, if you don't keep a good grip on them, they could go flying to parts unknown. Position the springs or remove the springs so the prism can be removed. 2 screws that clamp against the prism will also have to be loosened. They're set on the sides of the prisms at these corners. A couple of turns on the head should do the trick. Now the prism should lift free. Clean the prism surfaces with a camel hair brush, a dust blower, or a combination thereof. The foam on the bottom edge of the prism often degrades and could also need to be removed. While cleaning the viewfinder screen itself, remember that the screen is plastic and is easily scratched and marred, so proceed with care. Once satisfied with the dust removal, the prism, of course, can be reinstalled. Gently tighten the clamping screws. Be careful not to over-tighten, as you don't want to chip the prism. Return the prism clamp into position. Now you will have to work the springs over the clamp. Take care, as it's a little bit difficult. Sometimes the springs don't want to cooperate. You just have to hold the clamp in place, hook the springs carefully so that they don't fly loose. The first spring that you attach and the prism retaining plate need to be firmly held in place while you attach the second spring. There is some tension on it, so it takes a little bit of pressure. With the prism seated, return the decorator piece. Make sure it doesn't get flipped upside down. Now's the time to detail the top cover. Don't forget the release plunger. In order to hold it in place, put a little bit of grease on the tip of the release plunger and slide it into the release hole. The dab of grease will hold the release plunger in place as you seat the top cover. Now is a good time to install the rewind side spacer, a couple of top cover screws, the advanced lever spacer, the advanced lever retainer. Remember it bayonet on until the screw holes line up. Install the screws. Install the advanced lever cover nut. Use a spanner to tighten. Put the counter dial spacer, the counter dial. Remember the counter dial screw is left-hand thread. Align the shutter speed dial notch. And remember the shutter speed dial was set at 125 and the ASA was set at 100. Install the spring, the ASA dial plate, the shutter dial plate, and then hold it all in place with your fingers as you install the shutter dial retaining screw. Get it started and then use a spanner wrench to finish it off. Just snug down. Don't over tighten as it is a brass screw and you could break it off. Check the function of the ASA and the shutter speed dial. Install the rewind side cover plate and the rewind knob. Install the counter dial cover plate, taking care to align the window with the counter dial. The Pentax K1000 top cover removal and reinstallation is now complete. Thank you for watching.